Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're doing something a bit different, a really intensive look at one person, Ramona Gallagher, right at her breaking point.
Yeah, the owner of Mother Bridget's Boulangerie.
hmm
And the source material we have, it's extensive. It shows her battling this, well, just an unprecedented wave of crises hitting all at once. Personal, financial, family.
Everything, yeah. And our mission here really is to unpack how she manages that sheer volume. I mean, it's financial collapse, unexpected parenthood practically overnight, war trauma hitting her family, complicated relationships.
And crucially, what fundamental shifts she has to make. Because she's known for this fierce independence, right?
Exactly. That belief system gets tested to its absolute limit. She survives, but she's changed by the end.
Fundamentally changed.
Okay, so let's dig in. Where do we start? Maybe with just the sheer number of things happening at the same time. The simultaneous crises.
Right, simultaneous is the key word. There's no breathing room. Financially, we know the bakery was already struggling.
Described as so broke. Right, like right on the edge.
Precariously close, yeah, running on fumes. But then the actual building, her inherited Victorian house and bakery, starts physically falling apart.
It's almost biblical the way it happens. First, this massive water pipe breaks. From the street, a clay pipe.
Which means a huge repair bill. The sources mention a no doubt enormous bill.
And just as she's reeling from that, before she can even figure out the cost, bam, something else happens.
Yeah, the health inspector comes calling and finds the hot water heater is shot.
Wasn't that related to the installation? Some damage, mold issues?
Exactly. Damage during installation, mold develops. And the inspector shuts the business down immediately.
Wow. So it's not just another bill, it's zero income.
Total stop. No cash flow. Which means she can't pay her staff properly. She can't even think about reopening until it's fixed and re-inspected. Her dream is just crumbling.
Okay, but here's a critical point. Her friend, Kat, who we know is her mentor and also wants to marry her, he offers to just pay for everything, right?
He does. Offers a complete bailout. Fix the pipes, fix the heater, get the bakery running again.
And Ramona says no, flat out refuses. Why? The business is dying.
Well, that refusal is pure Ramona. It's that core independence we talked about, maybe even pride. Accepting Kat's money, especially given their history and his feelings, it feels like entanglement to her, a debt she can't handle.
She sees it as compromising her ability to be stable for others.
Precisely. She has that line, too many people are depending on me, I must be the center that holds. She genuinely believes taking that help would make her weaker, less reliable. For her, isolation equals strength at this point.
It's a tough logic to follow when everything's collapsing, and while she's pushing Kat away and dealing with floods and inspectors, this huge family crisis erupts overseas.
The war wound. Her daughter, Sofia.
Who's 8 months pregnant.
Heavily pregnant, yeah.
Yeah.
And she has to fly alone to Germany because her husband, Oscar, has been critically wounded while deployed.
And the injuries are just horrific based on the sources.
Oh, absolute devastating. Second and third degree burns, covering 60% of his body. Plus, amputations. Most of his right leg, part of his right hand. It's catastrophic.
I can't even imagine the fear Sofia must have felt, flying pregnant, alone, to potentially see her husband die.
Crushing is the word. And then, when Oscar does wake up from the coma, it gets even worse emotionally.
He rejects her.
Pushes her away, won't see her, won't acknowledge her. Sofia feels completely alone, totally inadequate. She even tells Ramona, I'm not tough like you, which is just heartbreaking for Ramona to hear, I imagine.
But there's more to Oscar's rejection than just the physical trauma, isn't there? Something deeper revealed later.
Yes, and this adds such a complex psychological layer. Oscar eventually confesses to Sofia.
Mm-hmm.
His injuries weren't entirely from combat. He had tried to kill himself.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so his recovery isn't just physical. It's a profound mental health battle against despair, against wanting to die. And that hidden trauma, that suicide attempt, it casts a long shadow, especially later, affecting Katie.
Which brings us perfectly to Katie. Just as Ramona is juggling the bakery disaster and Sofia's trauma, she suddenly becomes a guardian.
The third massive life event dropped right in her lap. Her 13-year-old step-granddaughter, Katie.
Whose mother, Lacey, has just been jailed.
Right, for meth addiction. And Katie, well, she was found living in appalling conditions. No running water, no working appliances, just neglect.
So Ramona inherits this child who is understandably deeply traumatized.
And defensive. The sources describe her beautifully skinny, wary. Every inch of her screams resistance. Why would she trust anyone?
But Ramona steps up, doesn't she? Even with the bakery closed and money gone.
Her instincts just kick in. She provides safety, routine, and the healing, interestingly, starts with the basics. like food.
Right. The contrast is so stark. Katie was surviving on, what, white bread and Vienna
Yeah,
sausages?
really basic processed stuff. And suddenly she's in the house of a master baker. Ramona's smooth peanut butter, pain au chocolat, fresh sourdough. It's more than just food.
It's nourishment. It's care. Proof of a different kind of life.
Exactly. And stability comes from other places too. She finds connection, finds things that anchor her.
Like the dog?
Merlin. Yes, the stray dog Katie finds. Described as a tramp, but also an old soul.
Yeah.
A classic Ramona touch there. And then there's the bond with Ramona's mother, Lily.
Over gardening, right. In the greenhouse.
Mm-hmm. Planting geraniums, bachelor's buttons. Simple, quiet, therapeutic work. It seems like Katie is actually starting to thrive, to put on weight, to trust a little.
Which makes what happens next just gut-wrenching. All that tentative progress gets shattered.
The betrayal. Katie runs away.
Stealing money from the bakery safe to do it. $200.
Yeah. It's a desperate act, driven by this deep need to see her mother, Lacey, who's supposedly in rehab in El Paso. It's a betrayal of Ramona's trust, but also you see how deep Katie's original trauma runs.
And that visit to Lacey, it's just devastating. It confirms all of Ramona's worst fears about her.
It's incredibly cruel. Lacey doesn't offer comfort. She exploits Katie, steals the money Katie brought, steals the new clothes Ramona bought her.
And then just abandons her in a park.
Abandons her. It's the ultimate act of parental failure and confirms Katie's deepest abandonment fears. For Ramona, it's this harsh realization that love and good food aren't enough. Katie's damage is profound.
So this pressure cooker, the finances, Oscar, Sofia, now Katie's trauma and betrayal, it forces Ramona to confront relationships she'd walled off, starting with her own family.
The Gallaghers, yeah, that rift is deep and old.
It goes back to her ex-husband, Dane, right?
Absolutely. The core wound is that her father, her sister Stephanie, and her brother Ryan, they chose to employ Dane, her philandering ex, in the family business over her. It solidified this lifelong feeling she had of being underestimated. My family chose my ex-husband over me. That's her narrative.
Which explains why she's always bristling at Stephanie's judgment or Ryan trying to interfere.
Totally. She guards her independence fiercely against them. But now the bakery is closed. She has no income. Suddenly that family structure, their resources, it's the only lifeline potentially available.
Her fierce independence is slamming right into pragmatic reality.
It really is. And speaking of forces colliding, just as everything is at its most chaotic, Jonah walks back into her life.
Jonah, the one that got away. Or maybe the road not taken.
Sort of. He was the kind older guy, worked at the record store, who showed her kindness, kissed her when she was 15, pregnant, and feeling like an outcast.
And now he's back? Doing what?
He's running a children's charity, Hearts Abound, and he's renovating this beloved old house in the neighborhood. He's successful, stable.
And there's an immediate spark.
Oh, definitely. Intense connection. And part of it, the sources suggest, is this shared history of, well, derailed dreams.
How so?
Jonah reveals he actually finished Berkeley, the famous music school. He was a guitarist. But a hand injury completely stole his musical future. Running the record store back then, that was just him regrouping after his own dream died.
So they both know what it's like to have life just yank the rug out from under you.
Exactly. That shared vulnerability creates this powerful pull. But Ramona, she immediately sees it as another complication, another potential drain on her stability.
She calls it too big, too much drama, right?
Yeah. She's holding together so much wreckage already. The business, Oscar, Sofia, Katie, falling deeply in love feels like another potential point of failure.
Even though she's clearly falling for him.
Deeply in love, physically compatible, the sources are clear on that. But that core belief kicks in again. She must be the center. She must remain emotionally contained. So she resists Jonah, pushes him away too, in a way.
Love feels like a liability, not a support.
At that moment, yes. It's another demand, another potential source of drama, when she feels she absolutely cannot afford any more instability. That fear of vulnerability, that's really the final mountain she has to climb.
So how does she get over that? How does she move from being this rigid, isolated center to someone who can actually accept help and find a way forward?
It starts with pragmatism, really, and family. The birth of the baby acts as a catalyst.
Sofia has the baby.
Yes. Marcus Gallagher Wilson arrives. Big, healthy baby, 9 pounds, 14 ounces. And that event seems to galvanize everyone.
Including Ramona's mother, Lily, the one she often clashes with.
Especially Lily. Despite their history, Lily immediately steps up, travels to San Antonio to help Sofia with the baby. You see the older generation providing that stability Ramona was desperately trying and failing to manufacture on her own.
A sort of passing of the torch, maybe?
in a way. And at the same time, there's more positive news about Oscar. He's awake, he's recovering, and crucially, he apologizes to Katie.
For pushing Sofia away? Or for the suicide attempt?
He expresses that his survival, his fight now, is for his family, for his daughters. It's a moment of emotional reconnection, starting to mend those broken pieces. And Ramona sees this, sees Lily helping, sees Oscar fighting. And she has a realization about Katie.
That she needs more than just love and pastries.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
She accepts Katie is with us now for good, and that the trauma runs too deep for just home remedies. Katie needs professional therapy. That acceptance of needing outside help is huge for Ramona.
And that mindset shift, accepting help is okay, maybe even necessary, that unlocks the business decision.
It leads directly to it. Ramona finally does the hard math. She weighs her fierce autonomy, which likely means the bakery fails for good, against merging with the Gallagher group.
Which means swallowing her pride, but gaining stability.
Guaranteed success, financial security. She realizes her independence, her pride, becomes self-destructive when other people, like Katie and Sofia, are depending on his stability.
So she takes her father's offer.
She does. Mother Bridget's boulangerie becomes part of the Gallagher group. It's a huge psychological step for her, letting go of that total control.
She stays on as manager.
Yes, general manager. So she keeps her professional identity, her connection to the bakery she built. But the financial burden is lifted. And crucially, it starts to mend that deep rift with her family.
And letting go of that rigidity in business, does that free her up personally, too, with Jonah?
It absolutely does. When she accepts help from her family, when she accepts she can't do it all alone, that wall around her heart starts to come down. The sources make it clear the inevitable happens.
She accepts Jonah.
She accepts their love, accepts that deep reciprocal connection. She realizes it isn't too much drama after all. It's actually the anchor she needed.
So when you pull it all together, her survival really hinged on letting go of that defining trait, her fierce, almost isolating independence.
Entirely. She had to accept the business help from the family she felt rejected by. She had to accept her mother's help. And ultimately, she had to accept vulnerability and love with Jonah. Pragmatism saved the business. Vulnerability saved her soul, you could say.
And it's all interconnected, isn't it? Oscar's crisis, Katie's arrival, they directly forced the business decision.
Which then created the space for the personal healing. She couldn't stay the rigid center anymore. The crises forced her to embrace community, to accept support.
And we see the positive outcomes. Katie gets therapy, Oscar recovers, the family starts healing, Ramona finds love. It's quite the arc.
A really powerful one.
But it leaves you with this lingering question based on Ramona's whole life story. When you're hit with so much all at once, is that kind of fierce independence a strength? The thing that gets you started? Or does it become a dangerous pride, the thing that stops you from surviving?
And how does that calculation change when it's not just about you anymore? When others, like a traumatized child, a daughter in crisis, depend on your stability, not just your stubbornness?
Something to think about. That's all the time we have for this deep dive.